Ladies and gentlemen, many of you might remember this person. He was responsible for a mass shooting over in King Sessing in Pennsylvania. I know where that is. I mean, I grew up in the city of Philadelphia. When you are over there and you're familiar with the surrounding places, then you would know where this is. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is an update on him. The accused gunman in the King Sessing mass shooting has been found incompetent to stand trial. He already had documented mental health issues prior to the shooting. This was a known thing that um, he had, I think, long term mental health issues. So he was accused of killing five people and injuring two children earlier this summer. I believe this was back in July. So he is receiving mental health treatment right now. And they're doing this to see if once he receives treatment, if he will be fit to stand trial. But right now, the court appointed psychiatrist, they're saying he's incompetent to stand trial. His public defender made the announcement in court on Tuesday, this past Tuesday of last week. So he's 40 years old, Cambrady Carricker, and he will be sent to a state run mental institution to receive treatment while his criminal case right now is completely halted. So they said it's on an indefinite hold. So he's accused of killing five people, wounding a total of seven in a shooting spree that occurred in July. And this was on the 56th Street in Chester and Springfield Avenue. He faces a host of charges, including first degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and illegal gun possession. So he is being held without bail. He and So he believes that the investigators, I should say, believe that he shot each victim the night of July 3rd, which would have made the incident the deadliest single act of gun violence in the city of Philadelphia in decades. So, ladies and gentlemen, I remember there were people that lived around him and they said they would avoid him because it was clear that, he wasn't right mentally. It's an unusual twist that they later came to believe that he had actually shot one of his victims. And the victim was 31 years old just after midnight on July 2nd. Then he returned to the area 44 hours later and began shooting an assault style rifle indiscriminately in a manner on a street. Authorities said their initial inaccurate account was due to issues including a bungled 911 response. And this response was from the first shooting victim, as well as a lack of communication between law enforcement and the medical examiner's office in the days after July 3rd shooting spree. A number of aspects of the case remain unclear Tuesday, including the potential motive, or no new details were revealed during the hearing before the municipal court judge, Wendy L. Pugh. Attorneys did not provide specifics on the mental health assessment, and he was not present for the proceeding. Well, I would figure if he was incompetent to be in court, why would he be there for a hearing? He wouldn't be competent for the hearing either. So, Anyway, still, it's not clear how if Carricker knew his first victim, the only person he shot on July 2nd, and the authorities are not sure why Carricker returned to the area later, firing shots while walking the streets in body armor and a ski mask. Those killed were identified: Dewan Brown, 15, LaShawn Merrick, 21, Ralph Morales, 59, Damar Stanton, 29. In addition, Octavia Brown, 33, and her twin 2-year old sons, Jafir and Bafkir. They were wounded with bullets and broken glass. Mm-mm-mm. And this happened when he fired into Octavia Brown's car. That's how the children got injured. And they were toddlers. Wow. Oh, this is so sad. Mm-mm-mm. So the authorities now believe Carricker came to the 1600 block of 56th Street shortly after midnight on July 2nd and fired rifle shots into Wama's home. That's the first victim, killing him. About 90 minutes later, a neighbor called 911, but the police said the officers were sent to the wrong address. And when a dispatcher called the woman back to see if she had more details, the woman abruptly hung up. She was probably scared. There were no additional 911 calls regarding the shooting death of Wama over the next 2 days, the police said, even though the bullet holes were visible in his front door. Mm-mm-mm. So after the shooting, they said nobody even went in there until like a full day after the shooting to even find his remains. So I don't know if it was a case where he lived alone and that's why it took a full 24 hours for somebody to discover him in the house. I don't know. Doesn't say in the article. So around 8:30 p.m. that night, authorities said Corica returned to the area with the same rifle and began firing indiscriminately at people and cars. He was apprehended near the scene and told police he was trying to help them combat gun violence, and that Yahweh, a Hebrew name for God, would be sending more people to help. He then declined to answer additional questions, sources said. Wow. So, according to the medical examiner's office, the first victim that was killed, they're saying that he if he lived, he didn't live no more than 30 minutes after he was shot. So it wasn't until July 8th that law enforcement learned of the conflicting autopsy details. And they continued to re examine the timeline, discovered the mishandled 911 call from July 2nd. This is the woman that made the first initial call, in which officers mistakenly dispatched to the 1600 blocks of North 56th Street. They should have went to South 56th Street. So that's where it got all messed up. They went to the wrong house. So they're saying he's due back in court in October for a status update. His criminal case will not proceed until he is deemed competent to stand trial. So, y'all, I will try to keep you up to date on this. This is really a tragedy, no matter how you look at it. It seems like the vast majority of his victims were young. Please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.